The CEO of Crypto.com went on national TV and started talking about an IPO. Not only did he hint at a potential IPO, in my opinion, he has essentially confirmed that an IPO is coming, but it might not be as fast as you might think it could be, or perhaps you think it should be. Maybe some of you guys out there that are holding CRO tokens are wondering, well, if there's an IPO for Crypto.com as a CRO holder, am I going to be getting some of these some of the shares because I'm holding the tokens? Maybe some of you guys are out there thinking, is this going to help or hurt the CRO price? Well, these are all great questions, which I want to explore with you guys in this video. You should stick around to the end as I get through all of this and talk about some of the price action that we're seeing for CRO right now on some of the news. There's actually two big stories that talk about this IPO, and one other thing that I think everybody should be aware of as you're getting ready to, shuffle off some profit potentially towards the peak of this bull market, and you're figuring out what to do with cash. Well, Crypto.com's got something that they're offering now for at least folks in the US and across the globe that I think everybody should be aware of. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's talk a little bit about this today. First of all, Cronos is up. It is the third best performing crypto in the market today. And I think it is because of this IPO news. Up 10% today. It is actually incredible. I am very surprised to see, first of all, Bitcoin rallying, Ethereum getting a little bit of a pump right now because we're in the month of September. However, I do believe that this is a temporary pump for these markets. September historically has some bearish price action in it. At some point, I do believe there will be some kind of greater dip. And if Bitcoin and Ethereum dip, CRO could certainly have some bigger spill back down to 20 cents or maybe to 16 cents. That's some of the areas that I'm looking at. But we have some very bullish news that I think is important to note. And also, let's celebrate the fact that CROcoin found a bounce at a level at about 25 or 27 cents, which is fantastic. I look at really specifically kind of this hump back here where we have some wicks, and that ended up kind of being our level of support, which is fantastic to see. But if Bitcoin slips a little bit lower, and so does ETH after getting this little rally, don't be surprised if CROcoin loses footing as well. But we're just really happy to see that it is a top performer today. Why is it a top performer today? Well, we saw the good news about them partnering up with the president's company, getting utility for CRO on the True Social platform and the CRO Treasury. Well, then Chris went on on Bloomberg Business yesterday, talked a little bit about this partnership, talked a little bit about some of these successes in the CRO treasuries and how there's a lot of these top crypto companies that are going to be having their own treasuries, and they're happy to be one of them and have the partnership with the president. And he was excited to go out and do this interview and talk about this, but there was something else that he wanted to tease out there, and he hinted at, yes, an IPO. Crypto.com CEO says he is tempted to IPO. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this, but first note that there's a ton of volatility in these crypto markets. We're talking about all the news. The other day, CRO was at 30 cents when we were talking about it on the day before. This was at 37 cents. We did a whole video where Oscar and Coin Baron got in there and we talked about it. But as the volatility is playing out, I take advantage of the opportunity to trade in these markets. If you want to do some trading as well, you could sign up for BitTinex. You could sign up for Blowfin. Blowfin's got a nice $5,000 deposit bonus, which is there for you guys if you want to take advantage of it in a 10% trade rebate. BitTinex has up to a $100,000 deposit bonus if you want to check that out. To trade these volatilities, we're seeing a lot of movements. If we get a little dip in September, again, that's an opportunity for potential shorts, potential longs off the bounce, something I keep an eye on. So if you want to check out those affiliates, it's there for you in the description down below. Now, Crypto.com CEO coming out and talking about this IPO, very interesting, saying, quote, they have the numbers to do a public listing, but enjoy being a private entity for now. And, I think that this is very interesting because as a CRO holder, you got to be thinking about this in two ways. One, the question comes up, if you're a CRO holder in the IPO, are you going to get some of the stock as a CROcoin holder? If you just simply ask ChatGPT and you do a little research, the answer is likely a very strong no. It's just too complicated and it's very unlikely. There is a very, very, very low probability that if you're holding a CRO token that you're just going to be getting a part of these stock shares. I don't think that that's the way that this works. And so that's something you could look into, but the answer is probably no. So then the other natural question is, would an IPO actually hurt the price of Crypto.com's CROcoin? And I think the answer is Probably not, but maybe. Probably not, but maybe. Here's what I think Chris is doing by positioning this and teasing this right now. I think teasing this is a very bullish thing. I think teasing this IPO is a reason that the CRO price is actually up a little bit and holding ground so well today. The bigger reason is probably because Bitcoin and Ethereum are holding ground and coming up a little bit today as well. But I think this IPO story is a huge headline. And we've seen a ton of crypto IPOs come out that have been tremendous. For the exchange bullish, for Gemini's coming out with one. We haven't seen it yet, but they're coming out with one. Circle had a great one. Coinbase had one, but it wasn't very successful. There's a ton of money invested in Coinbase stock, but let's talk a little bit about this. I don't think it's an advantage for Crypto.com to do this IPO right now. If they did it literally right now, maybe you can make the argument. But if they did it in the next few months, I think it would be a mistake. And I look to Coinbase to kind of, reference Coinbase here. Because when Coinbase launched their IPO, they launched in 2021. And if you look at the chart for Coinbase after it launched in 2021, that was the end of the bull market for crypto, and Bitcoin went from 60-something thousand down to 15K over the next year. And Coinbase's stock went from $400 almost to down to like less than $50, I think. Why did that happen? Well, Coinbase is a successful company, is a highly anticipated IPO, but it didn't do well because crypto and the crypto bubble popped, right? I mean, I don't believe that crypto's a bubble like some people like to paint it as a negative thing, but there are these bull market mania-like moments where there are highs and then we have a bear market low. And I think that's still coming. And if Crypto.com IPO'd right now and took advantage of the rally that we have to kind of end this most bullish phase of the cycle, and I believe there's going to be kind of a big rally to kind of end 2025. Maybe we go into 2026, but there will be some kind of bear market coming. And if they launch the IPO right as the top is in, then their IPO would likely do it, I think Coinbase did, and not really do that well. Plus, it would potentially maybe compete with the CRO token. But if they did this right, this is the way I think about it. Maybe they tease it to get people excited, which I think is a bullish thing, but don't launch it yet. They let the CRO token do its thing with no competition. I've thought, should I invest in the IPO? Should I invest in the CRO token? Have a wonderful rally in this blow off top bull market, and then towards the bottom of the bear market as we begin the next phase of this bull market, which maybe we're going to have shorter bear markets and longer bull markets because of all the regulatory approvals that have happened for so many of these different crypto companies and crypto products and the regulation happening in the US. I think that would be a more advantageous thing for them to actually hold off on this IPO. Enjoy being a private company. Enjoy the fact that the CRO token is kind of the thing that everybody thinks about when they think about Crypto.com in terms of getting exposure to Crypto.com's success, instead of having the CRO token competing with the IPO for like the best part of this bull market. So I think that's where his mind might be at, and I'm curious, do you guys agree with me on that? Do you think that's true? I think a IPO would be very huge, and I would be very interested in getting into the IPO for Crypto.com because I do think that they are a behemoth in the crypto space. They are one of the largest, most regulatory compliant exchanges out there. They've got amazing partnerships that just continue to grow and grow and grow. They get incredible media exposure, and I think it's very exciting. Again, as the volatility plays out in these markets, whether it's a bear market or a bull market or we're trading sideways, there is volatility to play out in terms of trading, and I take advantage of that, and I am not a financial advisor. I'm not here to give you financial advice, but if you guys are trading these markets or you want to, some of the exchanges I use are Bit2Next, and Blowfin is my favorite personally. I like that one a lot, and you do have a $5,000 deposit bonus there and up to a $100,000 deposit bonus on Bit2Next as well if you want to trade around as you're enjoying this wonderful news and waiting for a CRO coin pump and looking at levels of support and resistance for Bitcoin as we just see some of these volatilities play out. That's something to consider. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, guys. Also note, I forgot to mention this in this video. Now, as you're taking profit and you're winning, whether you do some successful trading or whether you're on your Crypto.com app and you're taking profit from your long-term holding bags and this bear market comes, you got some cash. Now on Crypto.com, you can actually earn 5% yield on your fiat cash you're holding. FDIC insured up to $5 million, which is huge news, very huge news. I think this is spectacular. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing here is financial advice. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. DCA, hold on, my friends. I'll see you in the next one. 2 videos here if you want to check it out. I'll see you next time. Peace, y'all.